But yeah, let's get rolling. So I know I'd sent you a long list of questions, essentially to start getting the creative process behind um, what you feel you do best is kind of how I want to break these topics into. So let's just kind of start with um, one, and if there's a particular question that stuck out to you, we can kind of start with that one. But I was kind of open the floor, and let's just kind of dive for it. Sound good?
Yes. Trying to put the volume up. Sorry.
You're good.
Okay.
So, was there any one of those questions that stuck out to you, or one that you thought was a little bit easier to do, or you came up with more ideas for?
I did come up with a quick, I guess, answer on what sets me aside from other realtors, and but all the questions were good. You could just, I'll follow your lead.
Okay. Yeah. Let's do this. I'm gonna pull that up. Okay. So I guess since that one was the easiest, let's start with that one. The one that makes you different than other railers is probably an easy one to start with. Um, so yeah, let's just roll with that one.
Oh, okay. Okay. Basically, like I was telling you the other day, that whenever I go through this process and this journey with whether it's a person or a family, I truly try to put myself in their shoes. And I just really make that vision their own, my own. Like whatever vision it is that they have, I just make it my own. And then I go through the whole process as I would want somebody to go through it with me. And I know that sounds like, well, isn't that what you're supposed to do? But in reality, a lot of realtors, they don't connect that way, and they just close deals, and the little things matter. Like there's a lot of things that can make a big difference if you pay attention to what your client is telling you. And that's what makes me different, is that I truly connect, and I try to envision what they you know are telling me to make it my own. And I just pretend like it's my process too. And I take care of my, like, anything I love and I invest in, I take care of it. So that's how I treat it. But I think
Okay.
I told you that last time. I don't know if that's what you were hinting
Yeah.
at, or
Yeah, for sure. So let's take that, and so we're gonna kind of essentially dive deeper. So we're gonna stay with that one bucket for now, and then we'll get into the other two. So that is person. I'm trying to think of a nice and succinct way to put it in like one or two words. But at the end of the day, it's you treat deals like they're your own. You have a a close relationship with your deal. So if we go deeper, and so you had mentioned you have the process and what you feel like as you go through. So are there certain steps that you feel stand out more, or are there certain steps that you feel are more important, or you just have a better understanding of that you can explain? Because I guess now as we go a layer deeper, let's try to find three different avenues. So if it's, hey, problem one, problem two, problem three in the process that you make personal and you can kind of talk people through, let's find some things that kind of join and run together with, hey, I'm looking at this from I'm in your shoes and I'm in this process and these are some of the problems that could come up. Here are the solutions. No need to worry. Like this is how you're going to kind of feel. These are some of the emotions. So you can you can be in their seat and describe it to them before they have it. And so I guess if there's anything that stands out to you in that process that you feel you have a good handle on, let's start there.
okay. So first of all, I try to, and it's hard sometimes because I get really excited, but I try to listen more than I talk, and I just pay attention to little details, as far as if there's like children involved, and what their hobbies are and why that's important. Because bigger backyard, or little things like that. And then I try to show a lot of empathy. People don't realize that that is a very vulnerable and personal uh, purchase. So a lot of people are either struggling on the lending side. I've already had a contract twice that everything was going great, but something came up on the lending side, and they're embarrassed, and we ended up having to drop that one, and they had to go for a home that was less expensive, so they were that process is very like vulnerable, and
Right.
sometimes some people don't even get accepted to begin with for a loan. So I just try to have a lot of empathy, and people lack that, especially younger people. They lack that a lot. So and I know text messages go a long ways, but I like to be face to face or phone calls, and I think that that matters, because you can't really read the tone of a situation on an email. And a lot of the newer younger realtors, they do a lot of the texting, which is cool, because that's fine, like I text too, but this is like a very vulnerable time sometimes, first time buyers at least.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I try to have a lot of empathy with the people I deal with. And even if it's just some client that, he's just got it going on and he just wants to invest, and he's like, just show me a good deal, I still like treat it with respect. And that's just, I mean, I hope everybody does that, but I know that I do that. So yeah.
Okay. So I think for that story in itself is like that could be done into a couple different posts. If you were to take, hey, here's what happens when the lender falls through. Here's what happens when you have to find a second or third lender. Here's some of the things that you might face when a lender comes back with this question or this answer. I think that has its own very long list of videos that you can make. It's just like quick little one-off easy little tips that someone watching the video goes, okay, like I just had a lender get back to me, like now I have to scramble to find this other one. And it'll be a sense of calm, because it's like, okay, now I know what to do going forward. It's just like, this was my one lender. I had everything laid out. I thought this was what it was supposed to be. Everything was going great. Now this huge, hiccup came through. Like, what am I supposed to do? Other people have those same situations. So because you had this experience, you had this whole story, you had this person have everything be great and it fell through. There there is a solution to some degree, and it's just like, well, we just had to find a different home. Well, maybe it was a different lender, or hey, it was just we didn't find anything. Like whatever it is, there is a way to show that emotion from an educational standpoint to ease people at a like to a degree their anxiety or just their I don't know. Like I'm somewhat ignorant when it comes to buying a house and all the steps in the process and all the different things. But if you can say, hey, I'm in your shoes, this is the steps that you need to do, here's what to expect. Hey, there's a chance that this problem might come up. And if it does come up, here's how to remedy it. And I think new lender, need a different lender. They ask me this question: what do I need to do for proof of income? Well, what do I need to do if they ask me this? Like all of those different problems that come up in the process, I think we can filter under this bucket of you standing in their shoes. So I think a bucket could be, hey, everything's going to be done from a problem solution standpoint of I'm going to stand in your shoes, talk to you about what problems and how and what solutions go with them. I feel that would people would get so much value out of that that you would have a lot of people that aren't even just in your own network that would
Mm.
most likely start to reach out and have, whether it be commenting, contact, following, that aren't in your immediate connection, that starts to expand and then you are able to attract more people to that. But with this, it's like you're constantly giving help. So people are going to respond to that rather than you just asking. So it's like, I'm telling you your problem. I'm standing in your shoes. I'm describing all the emotions. I'm describing all the feelings that go with it. And then I give you an actual payoff. I give you the solution. I give you a way to remedy all this stuff. And that for something of this nature, we've talked about before, it's so high stress. It's the biggest decision that anyone's ever made in their lives. Even if it's like you said, even if it's just an investment decision, no matter what, there's still enough steps that go behind it. It's just like, I just want to know. I just need the information. I need to know what I need to do. I like to get it handled. I want to move on. Like I want to get it handled as smoothly and as quickly and efficiently as possible, which doesn't mean I'm not going to go through any emotions. It's not going to mean that there's going to be any problems, but we can be set up and ready for it. So, I mean, any way to prep for that would be go through how many problems have you solved? How many things came up randomly out of the blue? How many things really pulled at people's emotion that was a problem, and just talk from that. And that whole slew in itself, I mean, you might be able to have 50 videos just from the different problems that you've probably had in the past.
Yeah. And when all this is happening, like, because I hear it and I've heard it quite a few times, everyone can have a license, anyone can have a license, but there's people, especially in my area, there's a lot of realtors that they know that there's like timelines that are still far out and they don't take you in consideration as a client. So they'll just be like, I'll just get back to them tomorrow. And they don't realize like these people are stressing, like a small, like, text or email can go a long ways, or a quick phone call like, hey, such office is not open till tomorrow, like, but the reassurance. And that's what I like. I feel like it's better to underestimate a client and just think like, like it's better to underestimate them as far as like they don't know what's going on, and just like hold their hand along the way. Because even if they do know what's going on, you're going to stick out than any other realtor than they've worked with.
Right.
So that's another thing too that like I like to do, and just to make sure that they see that I am that person for them.